It is 1:17 on Tuesday. Shit, dude. I spent the entire last day and a half asleep. I think it was because, oh my god. Oh, fuck. I think it was because of, hell. Can you pick it up? I think it would be, okay, first of all, I'm using this to open my phone case because the little tab that lets you pull open the part that like protects the charging port, it got ripped off. So I need to get a new waterproof phone case. It's still waterproof, I just can't open the bitch to charge it. So, hence, opening it with a fucking like hex wrench. Alright, what have I been saying? I've been sleeping for a day and a half. Essentially, I was so freaking sore that I was just like, I'm gonna sleep. And I took this like NyQuil DM, PM, something like that, that's supposed to break up all the mucus that gets trapped in your like lungs and throat and whatever else. But it only comes in like the PM form. So I took it, and I just like conked the fuck out. And I think my body was like, we're just gonna rest right now. Because every time I woke up, I ended up like going back to sleep. I might do it again. Low key, I might do it again and make it just 2 days that I just slept through. I never do this though. Not since the 30-day fast when I just slept all day every day. But that means that I didn't do my cleaning day, and I haven't taken any practice tests yet. And I think I might need to adjust my strategy here, because when I'm only doing it once a week, it's getting really easy to miss because of circumstances. So I'm considering that maybe I should just do one practice test and do it like every day or every other day. I might play around with that and see what happens. See if that's a possibility for me. Or a good idea. And I had a bunch of dreams. Man, it was crazy. The first dream that I had was I was like going to a fast food restaurant with my mom. And like, she was trying to like have fun with me, and like we were trying to like, I don't know, I guess play around, but there was spray paint involved, I guess. And you guys don't know this probably. I doubt that I've told this story. Hold on, let me drink some water. All right, hydrate. Well, my mom is the kind of person that she'll be joking around and playing around 1 second, and then something's gonna happen. It doesn't matter if it's internal, like she could misinterpret something that you said or did. Or it doesn't matter if like she's throwing popcorn at you and you throw some back. She's gonna get mad. And it's gonna happen quickly, spontaneously, and it'll change the entire rest of the night. And maybe she's not like that anymore. I'm not really sure. But at least when I was a kid, it wasn't safe to have a good time with her. Because it's all fun and games 1 second, and then like you got popcorn in her hair after she threw it at you first, and you're just like playing around, and it's gonna be a nightmare for the rest of the day. So like, I'm sitting there in the restaurant, and like, I don't know where we got spray paint, but I spray painted the shit out of her, like, and it doesn't make any sense, but it was the iridescent spray paint that I got for the Chintamani that I didn't end up actually being able to use. I might have like spritzed it a little bit, but it's not enough for it to be like shimmery, shiny gold, or not gold, iridescent. I ended up keeping it very natural. But there's something about the iridescence and fast food restaurants or whatever, and her flipping from having fun to being aggressive. very quickly. Sometimes we'll get physically aggressive. It just depends on the day. But that was at her worst, you know? That was before she really dealt with all her shit. Not that she dealt with all of it. But she's a much happier person now with a lot less stress on her hands. So it's kind of one of those situations where, like, if she was back in that level of stress right now, I don't know if she would revert back to being that way or if she's actually dealt with how she handles things. That's not my business, though. It's only, however she gets pressure tested in life is going to determine whether she has actually grown or whether it's just an environmental change. But that was my one dream, and then I stopped hanging out with her after that. In the dream, I went and found my siblings, and my nieces and nephews were there too, and I was with my one sister, her boyfriend, and then all of the kids, and they were like, "All right, let's go get some KFC," and I'm like, "Really? Well, I didn't get to eat, when I went out with Mom, so why not? Let's go." And so they all get there, and we're in this giant Scooby-Doo van that we don't have in real life. And I'm like, "All right, who's coming in with me?" And everybody's like, "Not me." And I look at my sister and I was like, "You always come in with me." And she was like, "Well, I'm not." And she's just sitting there on her phone. And I'm like, so somebody shouted, "Text him your orders." And I'm just getting inundated with all these text messages from my siblings and my nibblings about what they want from KFC. And I'm going in by myself. And I'm like, nobody's coming with me. And maybe that's something about my independence, something about codependence, where I don't know, I'm just struggling to do things by myself. But I felt a little abandoned, I'm not gonna lie. First I had the volatility of my mother, and then I had the abandonment of my family members. And then in the next dream, I was with my ex, and I was in a unfamiliar situation. It was the same old song and dance, but in a different house. And we were broken up, and we were about to move out. But only in this time we had roommates. And suddenly, this has been a recurring thing in several dreams of mine. I wind up with 3 extra snakes that I didn't remember having. And somehow they weren't dead yet, they didn't die because I forgot about them, but they didn't have enough water and they needed to eat, and and I'm like, how did I forget that I owned snakes? And one of them was from that dream in the Andes Mountains. I think it was the Andes. Whichever one was the Spanish conquest of the Maya, or the Inca, or whoever it was. It was literally that same coral snake or milk snake in one cage. And I was trying to get him out, but he was trying to hide. He was like, "I'm comfortable right here, dude. I don't want to get out." There was a bigger one that maybe a white lip. It could have been a white lip, but it wasn't aggressive. The only white lip python I've ever had was at the mom and pop pet shop I worked at years ago. It wouldn't sell. It was aggressive. It bit people, and it kept on sneaking out of the cage. And then months later, it would sneak back in. Even if I put another snake in the cage, he would still just pop back in there one day. It was nuts. But that snake kept on disappearing and then reappearing for a year. And I forget what the third one was. Maybe a corn snake. But we were fighting over whether or not we had to bring the snakes now because it was a spontaneous thing. And I was supposed to go into the forest it was the Earth Mother and then the Horned God were in my dream really quick. And I was supposed to go get something for them.